Welcome to Founders Raw.
Thanks.
Yes, we're here at Northeastern University and the Tech Northwest, provided by WTIA.
Yeah.
And if you could sum up your experience as a founder in like maybe a few sentences or a paragraph, like what?
I've done lots of companies as a founder.
Yep.
The successful ones are much more fun.
Absolutely.
than the unsuccessful ones. But there isn't a single successful one that hasn't gone through a complete pivot, a recasting of everything.
Yeah.
You can change. You may have to change the game you're playing. You may have to change the team that plays that game. You even change the team owners, but you must be present to win.
Yeah.
You have to get all the way through. So, the actual process of the founding moment, when you get a group of people together and you begin to work on the kitchen table idea. And it is so cool. It's unbelievable because what will happen is you'll sit there and someone will say, "Why don't we do this?" And everyone will get all excited about it. Then you find, "Oh, that dog won't hunt. That's a stupid idea."
Yeah.
And you go, you don't want to discourage them, but you say, "Gee whiz, it looks like we'll go off a cliff there or fall into the swamp or it won't work."
Yeah.
Everybody gets depressed, and then somebody will say, "Well, what if we built a bridge? What if we did this, or what if we turned it around?" And all of a sudden, it's I get goosebumps thinking about that moment. But all of a sudden, it's like this lightning flash goes around the table, and I instantly go, "Oh my gosh, this could be huge!"
Yeah.
And that moment, it's better than any drug I know.
You're
so
right.
how the hell would you ever do this at a big company?
Yeah.
Why doesn't everyone start companies? So how does it feel? It feels great.
Yeah. And so, previously you said that in other words, I'm not an employee. I'm a bad employee. I didn't
say I was a bad employee. So it's easier for me to start a company than to get a job.
All right.
There's a lot of people that actually would like me to be their employee. I don't know if it'll work out.
You're right. So what is that? Like internally in you, like what do you think the difference is in terms of you would rather start a company than join a company?
Than to join a company.
Yeah.
It's really a great question. I'm struggling with that right now. I do think that I have a hard time working for people.
Yeah.
Although in my world, I do work for the boards frequently. I work for the investors. I feel committed to the customers and to the employees. So I'm kind of working for all of them. But nobody gets to tell me what to do. And I just don't respond well to being told what to do. I don't. I don't know if that's a character defect or a strength, but
both probably. But right.
But I don't know. I'm way better off being sort of this independent operator. I'm usually chairman of the companies. That's just because I look like I should be that. More than anything else. But I've got a nice role that I like to play. I get to use my mind and experience and contacts and energy and the fact that I don't give up very easily all the time.
You come in and you as you said earlier, like, kind of like to be hands-on or at least like somehow like operational.
I'll tell you exactly what I do, okay? I look at a deal a day, more or less. And it takes me way longer to figure things out than everyone thinks it does. I just, oh God, what the hell? Brian Trussell.
Yeah.
What the hell does glimpse really mean? How is this going to play out? The value accrues to the person arriving. I mean, the person that you're going to, or who should pay for what? I was trying to figure it out. So I started to get to know Brian in the course of doing this. And the first litmus test I have is does the idea represent a winner-take-all Switzerland opportunity? So I use that phrase, and it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Basically, is there a natural monopoly here, potential? And are the big players going to be at each other's throats and hold themselves off while a little company can maneuver amongst the legs of the giants and not get stepped on?
Yeah.
And then emerge, ta-da, and have one of them have to buy you.
Absolutely.
That's the formula.
Yeah.
Now, coming up with, does that fit that formula or not, that's the art. So in the course of talking to Brian, I go, wow, this idea, I begin to get a pretty good idea. Glimpse is a fantastic idea. Oh my gosh. And I realize that I've passed the first hurdle, which is a really good idea. The second hurdle is, do I like listening to the people I'd be working with?
Yeah.
Do I like listening to them? Do they have interesting things to say, or do I think I can complete their sentences? And then the next litmus test is, do they like listening to me?
Yeah.
Can we have a disagreement? Can we have a discussion? And by the time that all happens and I find out someone like Brian, who I didn't know, is someone I want to work with, it takes 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then I never look back. And Brian and I really enjoy working with him. And we've got a great idea.
That's awesome,
and we're filling it all in. But it's that process of trying to vet where I get to know the entrepreneur. They get to know me.
Yeah.
And then I sign up and say, oh, yeah, I'll work with you.
And what you're describing is what I like about it is it's a relationship that you're building, and sometimes the pressure as an early stage founder to go out and raise money, and I need to go get these investors or advisors real quickly, we rush it, right?
Yeah, it's true.
And what I like about what you're describing is it takes 6 months a year.
Yeah. I mean, there are some entrepreneurs like Brian Roundtree, who I did Snap In with.
Oh, yeah.
That, oh my gosh, Brian says, I want to do a new company. I go, cool, what are we going to do? I don't even think about it. There's no idea. Turns out his idea I thought was pretty bad, so I told him what I thought was about his idea, and he listens to me because we know each other really well, and he's an amazing guy. You know, he came back and we decided we had a really good idea, but we needed someone to run that company. And it turns out we had someone, Henry Lawson, and we never looked back. But I don't question whether, if Brian Roundtree wants to do 5 more companies, I don't care if I'm 90. If he still wants me, I'll still do it with him.
And so what is it that you're looking for within that founder if you want to work with them as an advisor or even like as an investor, if that's the case? What is it that the 2 to 3 things maybe that you're seeing?
I told you I like the ideas. I fall in love with the ideas.
Okay.
Right? But a good founder like Brian, I know I can. You can put Brian and me in a desert and we'll come up with an idea. Mm-hmm. He's amazingly competent. So what do I like about Brian? He's got a wealth of knowledge. He's creative. He's a really good executor. We'll sit down there and invent something, and it's damn near patented by the time we're done. I mean, he's just got it all down, and he's done. So huge competency and creativity. He's a nice person. He has very high values. I never compromise my values, ever. I don't care what the opportunity is. Yeah. And so I want people that match up with my values, which are, there's a list of about 4 things that I really think are important. And so I find out if we're compatible. I don't know. I like the idea. I like the straightforward, honest, creative, low ego requirements.
And as you said, you say, you get a deal, or you look at a deal a day.
Yeah.
What to you are the most important aspects of a good deal or a good pitch?
I kind of tune out the pitches. I hate it, because I'm not listening to the pitch very much. I'm thinking about the idea, and so there's certain pitches that drive me nuts. I hate pitches where I'm sitting there and I'm going, "What is this? Is this editable?
Yeah.
What the What are they doing?
Yeah.
Why won't they tell me what they're doing?
Just pare down.
Stop! I know mobile's big. I know people have 2 arms, 2 legs, and you build in all the background. There's lots of people. Or here we are.
Yeah.
And I still don't have the idea. So there's some pitches I hate.
Yeah.
But what I hate even worse is after I've figured out what that company's doing and I know that I'm interested, we then have to put together a pitch to get it funded. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I will work really hard with a company to get that pitch right, and they'll roll it into some VC, and there'll be some VC sitting there, and they're looking like they just tasted a tiny little piece of shit. and these guys will pour their heart out, and the VC will say, you didn't, you hit me with the product too soon. I go, oh, come on, please. How can you stand this market buildup? I can't believe it. But a lot of VCs don't know shit about the market. Mm-hmm. So they need that market buildup. So I'm always a bad judge of what should be in the pitch. So I tune the pitch out. I want the idea to be really good. And the idea to be really good for me has to be a winner-take-all Switzerland idea. And it's got to have, frankly, I don't do deals without a technology edge. Yeah. And I don't do it without an IP strategy. So it's got to have a bunch of elements.
When you say IP, are you saying patent already in place?
No. I mean, God, I'm on a lot of patents. We have to have the ability to patent something.
Okay, yeah.
No. Patents take way too long
Yeah.
to be in place. I wouldn't be a startup person if I did that.
So
Bring me
you're
your startups, but only with issued patents. It's
So
not
are
gonna
you
work.
advising that have a patentable IT strategy, but don't go after the patent initially?
No, I mean,
Or what-
I like to see early filings. I like companies who understand and founders. Not everybody can patent things.
Yeah.
Some people just can't do it. They can come up with the ideas, but they can't patent them. So I like to see a group with patent skills. There was a guy downstairs, David Sakata. He used to work at Intellectual Ventures, and he joined Influence as employee number 6.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
because Brian Roundtree is a patent machine, but we've got so many ideas out of that company. He needed someone to work with him.
Yeah.
And so I look for founders that have that kind of bent. And I have a certain criteria for patents that I like and patents I don't like also. So
Are you worried for the future of patents, or what are your thoughts on that?
God, we have a big problem in
Yeah.
this country. Huge problem. The non-practicing entities, the trolls,
Yeah.
I think are hurting this country's ability to compete in a world marketplace. That's a bottom line how I feel about them.
Yeah.
And they are doing it with a very tenuous grasp on the greater good. As a matter of fact, most of them, are paying lip service to the greater good.
Yeah.
Most of them are doing it because they think it's a great way to make money.
Yeah.
And most of them end up in litigious situations, and they revel in that. And I don't think that contributes a damn thing to our society.
And
Whereas
so,
I think patents do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the patents that can protect a small startup,
Absolutely.
and then while it's nurturing its flame and getting to be something of a campfire, let alone a bonfire, that idea that there is patent protection is really important to us. And any patent troll that's out there saying, "Oh, we help the startup company monetize their patents," no, the way you monetize your patents is by building a great company. I can't even think that. So that's what I think. So I have a series of solutions I'd like to see implemented, but we probably don't have
Well, and
time.
when you have a founder, it's early in the game. They have this idea, or they have a direction they want to go, and they're looking at do I spend 15, 20K on filing this patent, or do I spend that on attracting talent? I mean, when there's limited resources, it's really difficult. Do they play both at the same time, or do you have to
first of all,
prioritize?
It doesn't take 20K to file a patent. It takes about 8. So you can do it about 8. You can do it with a patent attorney that won't ask for the money until you get funded. You can. And there's lots of ways to get a patent. Anyone who says, "Well, what am I going to do? Hire an engineer or file a patent?" My answer is, why are you bothering to hire the engineer if you don't have something that's patentable? Because pretty soon you're going to lose the engineer. So I rotate towards patents pretty early. I think that trying to figure out what allows us as a country to do startups, to understand what is the magic formula that we've got, because we really have one.
We do.
Oh my God, it's underpinnings. I forgot to say this in that room. I wish I hadn't. Is we have people from every country in the world coming to America to do startups. Oh my gosh.
And
how many people go to France to do a startup? Right?
And I think it's the American ethos of freedom to go do whatever you want, whatever idea strikes your mind. How would you describe, if you say we have everyone from every country in the world coming in and starting companies?
Right. Why does that happen?
What is it?
All right, so a lot of people have an expression that says that I think this Swedish group asked me to talk to them once about the same subject, and do you realize? Carol, I shouldn't be using a Swedish accent, but do you realize that Sweden has a lower corporate tax rate than the U.S.? Did you realize that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I said, yeah, okay. What about the personal tax rate? Oh, well. It turns out the Swedish corporate tax rate is something like 27%. Ours is 30 or 33.
Yeah.
So first of all, I don't really know what our corporate tax rate is, because almost none of my startups make any money and pay taxes, but they get sold for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we pay taxes on that. So I know capital gains tax pretty well. Personal, Sweden's probably about 68% marginal. We're about 34, unless you're in California where it's a little more. Oh my gosh, big difference.
That is a huge difference.
So this group said to me, well, we think that it's probably because Americans tolerate failure better.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm recorded, but that's a bunch of bullshit. Right? That is total horseshit. So I said, are you kidding? Failure hurts. It's awful. I do everything I can to avoid it.
Yeah.
What do you mean tolerate failure better? So what we tolerate better in this country is success.
Yeah.
If you're successful in a lot of countries in the world, people think that you must have stolen the money.
That's a really good point.
Oh my God! Oh, we're the nouveau riche. You know, whereas we think the guy is a hero or the woman's a hero. They started from nothing. They built a whole company. They're worth a freaking $1 billion. Oh my gosh! You know, that's cool. If that happened in France, it'd be they came from nowhere. You know, and I don't want to pick on the French because I lived there and they have tremendous technology.
Yeah.
But I think we tolerate success way better, and that's why we have such a great entrepreneurial environment.
And I'll counter you with, I think we tolerate both, and obviously in different parts of the country it's a little different. But I think it's, in some of the other conversations we've had, people have started 10, 14 companies, and some of them are successful, some of them weren't. Yeah. But it's the energy to just start over and take the failure. For instance, you asked me about my history. Well, we didn't go as far as we wanted to. Well, that doesn't mean it's going to be the last startup that I see.
So it's really great.
It's something that I think that there's both a tolerance of success. We do celebrate it and we see it in a certain way, but being tolerant of, it just didn't work this time, but the next time.
So there's something else we do. So I agree with you. I do think we tolerate failure better, but I think we do that institutionally better than we do personally.
Yeah.
I think personally, failure is always a dark night of the soul. You've got to really look inside yourself and see, how do you handle that? Mm-hmm. What happened? How do I learn and grow? But institutionally, we have bankruptcy protection. If you fail in a startup, it doesn't mean the end of your life as you know it. No, there's some countries where you go to jail if you don't pay everybody off everything that you ever raised, even.
Yeah.
And here you may not get to do another startup if you lose everyone's money.
But at least
your life isn't over.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we have a lot of mechanisms that tolerate failure. I mean, when I listen to a person that came out of Microsoft or somewhere and a big company and they've failed in a startup and they're still coming back, I go, cool. If somebody comes out and says, I'm going to do the startup, I kind of go, I wonder how they're going to handle failure. Yeah. So I think you're right.
Yeah.
But it's more of a trial by fire than it is.
Well, and even more importantly, not to say I wish this on everyone, but my first serious startup experience didn't go as well as I thought, but how much I learned from that and how much stronger, that's almost a requirement in my opinion. Go fail your first time, now come back and let's go do something next.
Yeah. So I didn't fail in my first startup, but it was so hard and brutal that I'll never do it again. I'm really glad I got that first startup out of the way. None of them have been as hard as that since. It's incredible. Even the ones that didn't make it aren't as hard.
Yeah. I
just couldn't imagine failure in that one. It didn't occur to me that I could. So therefore, I worked night and day and managed to pull it off. But it was almost not worth it.
Yeah. Well,
anything else?
Yeah, I think we'll tighten up here. Yep.
All right.
I appreciate
what you wanted.
Thank you very much.
Yep. You
Enjoy.
Bet. See.